Welcome to CommTrack, where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. I'm your host, Tim Leifheit.
And I'm Jonathan Knoll.
And I'm Daniel Gill.
And tonight we are going to be doing, we're going to be finishing up our month on the DC animated movies with Justice League: The New Frontier. Now, it turns out I really didn't like this movie a whole lot. This is actually my least favorite of all the DC animated movies.
Well, obviously you're wrong.
And I really like this movie.
Well, you're a stupid wrong person, John.
You shut your stupid head. Anyway, yes, guys, I'm back, and this time 100% more sober.
Woohoo! Although you're not going to be for the next one. Holy shit.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so, okay, the reason why I didn't like this movie, because this is actually the second in the franchise, or at least the line of DC direct-to-video home videos. Am I right?
I thought it was the third one.
It was the third?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, no, you're right. It was the third one, because you had Superman Doomsday, and then you had Batman Gotham Knight, which came out just afterwards. So this is the third entry.
No, it's not the second film.
Oh, it is the second one?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, hang on.
This up right now.
We are totally...
Superman Doomsday, Justice League: The New Frontier, and then it was followed by Batman Gotham Knight.
Okay, so this is the second
so we were
one.
close.
Okay. Either way, this was pretty early on. Now, this is after the time when Justice League got out, and of course, I still am a huge fan, and I am adamant that that is the definitive version of the Justice League.
The DC universe in general.
And I saw Superman Doomsday, and I again, it's had some problems, but I'm like, all right, I'll go with this. I mean, because I've read the original comic book series. And I'm like, okay, this is all right. But when I saw New Frontier, I was like, wow, that was disappointing, which really kind of bummed me out, because when I saw it, I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, a Silver Age comic book story with actual period superhero movie, because this was before Captain America: The First Avenger. We hadn't seen this kind of stuff, man. I was excited, and wow, was I let down, though. That plot was murky as hell. I mean, there was just so much going on and so little development.
Well, it's a Justice League movie. The whole problem with a Justice League movie, and it's something that's been done wrong with a lot of team up movies, is it's an ensemble piece first and foremost. So you have to deal with each and every little piece.
Mm-hmm. And the other problem is that it was being adapted from the award-winning DC: The New Frontier by Darwin Cook.
Yeah,
and there was so much more going on in the novel than actually they could get on screen.
See,
there were whole side stories, whole subplots, whole things that they were unable to stick on screen.
And that is exactly one of the biggest problems of the movie, because when I saw this thing, I was like, dude, this is holding back on me. This should have been like a 2-hour movie instead of like a 70-minute thing, because I felt like there was so much left out.
They could make at least easily two 2-hour movies out of this.
Yeah, because
very easily.
But the fact that it was so compressed, I had the same issue with Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Because there was these big long action sequences, but I'm like, where's the rest? I mean, I actually remember at the end of that movie, I was like, wait, there's a big plot twist with Rita Skeeter. They never revealed it, and I looked like an idiot to all my friends. Because, as you know, Goblet of Fire is probably one of the longer books in the series. That was like...
It was the longest book, actually.
Yeah, so...
oh, wow, okay.
Well, no. Order of Phoenix was a little bit longer.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
But you're still right. It was one of the longer ones.
It was freaking massive, that's all I know.
Yeah, and to compact it into a 2-hour movie is kind of ridiculous anyway.
Right.
This suffers from the exact same kind of deal. There was just so much going on and so little development, and I also felt like there was too much plot going on, and yet at the same time, it got lost in its atmosphere and kind of gave up and just meandered through the plot with like grabbing as much as they could along the way. And to me, that really hurt the movie a lot.
Which is really sad, because it has a fantastic voice cast.
Oh, I know.
David Brance as Hal Jordan, Miguel Ferrer as John Jones, a.k.a. Marvin the Martian. Sorry, Martian Manhunter. Neil Patrick Harris the Flash. Lucy Lawless as Wonder Woman.
Now that was
inspired.
That is an amazing casting choice, which I was super glad that they did.
Kyle MacLachlan as Superman. Kara Sedgwick as Lois Lane. Brooke Shields as Carol Ferris. Jeremy Sisto as an amazing Batman.
Yeah, well, that was
Keith David is the Center, which is kind of the big bad guy.
Oh, Keith, and that's another thing. I really
even got John F. Kennedy as himself.
Yes, via archival footage. But that was another thing about
God.
what.
Okay, quick aside, guys. I am reading The Martian right now. For those who don't know, it's a movie there's a movie based on it by Ridley Scott with Matt Damon.
Yeah. I've been wanting to see that.
You're Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. No, but I'm reading the book, and it's actually very well done, very well written. And NASA has actually gone on record saying it's some of the best science in a science fiction novel they've ever seen. But they've just discovered in the book that the main character is alive, and they can't communicate it with him yet. But they're having a press conference, and the head of NASA is like, "We don't know what he's thinking, but he's a very smart man. He's very intelligent, very resourceful. Whatever he's thinking at this moment is related to his survival and how he can extend his life." Next thing is, how the fuck can Aquaman talk to whales? They're mammals. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. And that's it.
Well, what was the other thing I was supposed to say about this? But, yes, Kiko wants to play.
The studio puppy wants to play.
Yes, she does.
So she's going to have to just relax.
Yeah, but that was one of the things that I just... Because there was just so much going on, and I also feel like it got a little too crazy with its art direction, because that's the one thing that I absolutely cannot deny. The art direction in this movie is fan-friggin-tastic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I still really like the plot, but again, it was just the wrong adaptation, and with too little time devoted to it, and it really kind of breaks my heart that these guys really let me down.
Yeah.
Well, but
like you said, though, it is the second entry into this whole area of the DC
but they've been doing
universe.
this since the 90s, though.
True.
But they had not been doing it in the original movies. That's like what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Is that they were used to doing it in half-hour shows with much simpler plots and not trying to adapt material from a different media.
Yeah, it wasn't until they got to Dark Knight Returns when they actually had all their gloves off and they're just like, all right, we're going to do the whole thing.
Word for word, shot for shot.
Yeah, although amazingly they did it all without the voiceover.
narration.
Yeah, that was a really cool feat.
Though frankly, I still think that Michael, as much as I love James Woods,
Michael
Ironside would have made a great Batman.
Nope. No, and it wasn't Michael Ironside who voiced him. It was Peter Weller.
Oh, I'm sorry, Peter Weller.
Yeah,
but Michael Ironside did Batman and the Legends of the Dark Knight TV series, and I that's the voice I hear in my head when I'm reading Dark Knight Returns.
Nope, it is Clint Eastwood's. Because Frank Miller himself actually said that he based that off of Dirty Harry in the Deadpool. When Dirty Harry's much older, he's the guy that no one likes. And honestly, when I saw Gran Torino for the first time, and that famous line, that everyone makes fun of, "Get off my lawn."
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's old Batman right there. That's actually old Batman. And I'm like, it would have been absolutely perfect. And I really wish that they had gotten Clint Eastwood, because I know that would have been a real coup d'etat to pull off. Yeah. But had they done that, it would have been perfect, because if you remember that one description where he's on the horse and he's gathering up the army, Carrie Kelly in the little description box says there's something in his voice.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
So that's the main reason why I'm like, Clint Eastwood must be the man to voice this, because that is Frank Miller's direct inspiration. He's perfect for the role. He is the tough loner that no one likes.
Problem is, I think Clint Eastwood wouldn't do it if he paid him.
No, I can, and I totally sympathize, man, because that's just not his style. And besides, he's off doing his own thing. He is
exactly.
He really is a maverick. So we can't fault it. But honestly, I'm still glad that they got. Peter Weller did a fantastic job as Batman.
I mean, man's RoboCop, for heaven's sake.
I know, right? So with that said, is there anything else that we want to talk about? Instead of talking about geeking out over Dark Knight Returns, is there anything else we want to talk about the New Frontier? Actually, how did you guys feel about it, and how did you get exposed to it?
Well, one day my mom brought it home, because my mom is into that kind of thing, and I watched it and I'm just like, I like this. It's not exactly the Justice League cartoon that I'm used to, but I really like this. Also, they can say son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I got introduced to the comic, the graphic novel by Darwin Cook from 2004, which won won Eisners and Annies and a whole bunch of stuff because it was really well done. And then I was at Big Lots one day, and they had it on sale for $5, and I figured, what the fuck? So I grabbed it and went, I like this. It was well done. I thought it was enjoyable.
Well, okay,
but at the same time, like, they cut this, they cut that. Because there's this whole big scene. There's a boxing sequence in this where everyone's like in Vegas watching, and it's not really pointed out in the movie, but that's Wildcat.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
That is Wildcat, this original superhero.
Ted Grant, right?
Ted Grant, yeah. And there's like a 4 or 5 page spread where you're in his head listening to him fighting, and he's like, "This is my last bat. This is my last fight. I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna lose this. No, I'm not gonna lose this. I refuse to lose this. I am gonna unleash everything."
Oh, that's so cool!
Guy. And he just, basically takes this young kid down. But in the movie, they cut all that out.
See, this is why I was so bummed out about this movie. So you're probably going to be our comic book expert throughout this movie.
A little bit, yeah.
Because
Cool.
I actually have not read it.
Neither have I.
So I was only presented with what I saw in the movie, and because of that, I just looking at it from a story standpoint as a third-person viewer, I was like, this really should have been a lot longer and a lot more detailed. Yeah. So. Sorry. With that said, I think we can get started on the movie. Yes, so in the description below, there's a little sync button. So if you want to sync it up with your DVD or Blu-ray or your digital file or whatever,
that'd be pretty rad of you.
Yeah, and and it also helps because if you don't want to hear us bullshit for about 10 minutes,
movie starts now.
Okay, here we go, and
we're still got black. And hey, it's
shows up. And
WP.
We are ready to go.
WP.
Because at this point they were still doing the whole Warner premiere thing. It wasn't DC Direct yet.
Oh, okay. Well, isn't this the DC Direct?
No, it's just DC Comics.
Right on. Okay, so we are opening up with... this I actually thought was a really cool idea, because what is it? The center... voiced by Keith David, doing this little monologue about the creation of Earth and his own origin.
Now, in the comic, this is actually a story that is written by this insane artist.
Yeah, and
that's one of the things they cut out. They had to cut out in the comic, in the movie. I mean,
yeah. Well, they didn't quite cut it out. They just presented it in a very different way.
Yeah, and I like the idea.
This was this I admit I thought was a really cool idea. Present it from a POV kind of style, and you never actually see the author. Which makes him just the center a little bit more mysterious. But again, I wanted to learn a little bit more about the center.
Yeah,
because there was in the time frame of this movie, he's in here like very, very, very little. Yeah. And I was like, this villain needs to be played up a lot more because they're bickering about one another, and I know that's part of the theme.
Right. Handy like button.
Yeah, and blows up all of humanity.
Another storyline they have in the comic they don't have in here is that a group of soldiers from World War II actually landed on an island and ended up fighting dinosaurs, which is part of what the center was.
Yeah, because he's basically a moving island.
Yeah, and they cut it almost completely from this.
Well,
boom.
Yep. Although I wish there was blood. I kind of wish there was just a hint of blood, but whatever. But this is right here.
Very nice, almost
James Bondish.
Well, no, I was thinking, what's the guy? Sal something. He did the designs for like Psycho and.
Oh, right on. Well, it also reminds me of like the Jetsons or even. What was it? The Chuck Berry cartoons.
Meet Hal Jordan.
But right here was
Ferris, his girlfriend.
But right here was
his friend Barry.
And during this title sequence, this is the moment where deceptively I thought I was in for a real treat because the artwork is really fantastic. This has
got a lot of. It draws a lot from Watchmen.
Yeah, that right there. I was about to say.
There's another comic book called The Golden Age, which unfortunately I have not had a chance to read, and it basically covers the same time period, but it's a bunch of the more obscure DC comic characters from the 1930s and 40s, set in the 50s when all this stuff went down.
Right on.
But I really should read them at some point.
Yeah.
Fun thing, Jeremy Sisto.
Yeah.
Actually is on The Flash.
Really? Oh, no kidding. The new series? Or is it?
No, I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong. Never mind.
And here's Andrea Germano.
Andrea Germano, amazing lady.
Yep. Although I also noticed that Phil Morris was in here, and I think he voices it wasn't Colonel Flagg. It was the other government guy. I forget his name.
I know what you're talking about. King something.
Additional material by Darwin Cook.
Well, Phil Morris was actually the voice of Vandal Savage in the Justice League cartoon that they worked on previously, and he was honestly one of my all-time favorite villains from the Justice League, especially the one where Superman gets sent into the future. And Vandal Savage is just the only one there, and he hasn't seen any human beings for 30,000 years.
Yes, I love
and he's
that.
just like, hello. I haven't seen people.
Behold.
Yes. Here we are, Korea, at the start of, the birth of North Korea, right after Korea's declared a ceasefire against South Korea and the Americans. But apparently, they're, these guys, spoilers, aren't going to have the same, have that same privilege of experiencing a ceasefire. Here we got Ace Morgan. He was part of the what was it?
Challengers of the Unknown?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the Challengers of the Unknown actually appear a lot more in there's a whole backstory of them in the
I can imagine, because
basically they all come together and they're not even sure why they're coming together. They're all drawn together. But apparently they're like archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're archetypes, they're actually Earth's it's like an unconscious urge that Earth is giving them to help save it.
Right.
And it's really quite interesting.
Cool, because I remember I looked at him because I was wondering why Ace was dressed in such like a weird jumpsuit towards the end of the movie, because he was in this like purple thing, and I'm like, wait, is he dressed like Aquaman or something? No. And then I looked it up online, and I'm like, oh, okay, he was part of this little team that wasn't supposed to be. Because again, this movie, give me more of this movie. Stop holding back. It's frustrating. It's physically frustrating.
King Faraday, that's the guy's name.
Yes, Agent Faraday. That was the guy that voiced by Phil Morris, who does Vandal Savage as well.
Yeah.
But really, why? I don't know. Actually, John, if I can ask, why is it? Are you like willing to just kind of go by everything, even though there's clearly a lot left out of this story? Like, a lot.
It's well animated, for one thing.
Yeah, it is really well animated.
Well, true, but I mean...
I really like the music, for one thing. It's one of the 4 scores that I actually have for the DC Direct movies.
Mm-hmm.
Thud.
And easily, this was one of the more...
I would break the kid's face.
...entertaining ones. This one and, Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff missing from it, but again, I realize that it's an ensemble piece. It's supposed to have stuff missing. And at an hour 14 minutes, it's gonna be missing stuff.
No kidding. But it was I don't know. It was just really frustrating, because it's a lot like the 1989 Batman, where you can give me all the wonderful Anton Furst stuff going on, and this is actually... hang on a second. This is pretty nasty. Yeah.
You wanted blood?
Yeah. There's you want blood? I'll give you blood.
And again, these guys were still working off... These guys were just coming off of Justice League Unlimited.
Yep.
So they were still really, really new to the whole blood thing.
Yeah, even in... they even kind of held back in Superman Doomsday. I mean, there was some. But if you remember from the comics... Oh, dude, Superman
got fucked up.
Yeah, he was drenched in his own blood. I mean, never mind his ass handed to him. He had his He had his ass handed to him in a blender, with frappe written all over it.
That was our first appearance of Martian Manhunter.
And I did like his design. I really, really love the design. I love all the design in this movie. It's great to look at, because I when I watched it again earlier today, I realized that this movie suffers from the same mistakes that the original 1989 Batman had, where it's a lot of great visual style, and it's really cool to look at. But at the end of the day, there's really not a whole lot of substance to back you up.
Sounds like David Lynch's Dune. I mean, a gorgeous film, but by God, what a piece of flying worm crap that is.
Well, at least
spice must flow. Yeah, it can flow right down the toilet.
Well, at least Tim Burton's Batman, and this, I might add, is not a complete waste of complete crap. Because I still really do like this movie. It's just it's really frustrating for me to watch.
You're gonna have to read the series
so much.
Seriously.
Yeah, I really should.
I can give you a copy.
Cool.
It's gonna be on your computer, but
I just need to make sure I have enough time.
This is a scene I really liked.
Yeah, I thought this was cool.
Wonder Woman basically telling Superman to get stuffed.
And he's like, yeah, I'm dishing out justice my way. I'm doing it the womanly way. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool. And did you notice in this...
this is like definitely first wave feminist shit right here.
Yeah. But did you notice in this movie...
Actually, it's a little more second wave, but whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Did you notice in this movie that Wonder Woman is actually taller than Superman?
Oh, yeah, she's supposed to be.
And she refers to him as Cal.
Also, I just want to point out that if you notice that they're using the Max Fleischer design.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. I really like that.
It's a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. But I really love the fact that they really gave Wonder Woman some real balls in this movie, because even in the Justice League Unlimited movie, series, I felt like they were just holding back a little bit on her, because, you know, she's an Amazon warrior trained to kill, while at the same time being the ambassador of peace.
Right.
This one, I'm like, right on. They got the balance right. The Wonder Woman in this movie, I'm really willing to get behind. And, you know, the fact that she's voiced by Lucy Lawless is like perfect. Xena, the warrior princess, doing Wonder Woman. That is beyond awesome.
Xena, the warrior princess, doing Wonder Woman, and Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks doing Superman.
Yeah.
And
because
you know,
Dan Good Coffee.
Paul Atreides from Dune. Wadeen.
Now here's another thing that I remember that really frustrated me. Batman's a fugitive, the Justice Society is retired, and Our Man is dead. Stuff that I want to see! I want to get into this.
That's actually not covered in the comic book.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's basically just backstory.
Oh, okay. Well, still, I don't care.
I like that. That kind of information you can fill in on your own.
Yeah.
But still, man, I want more. I want more. I mean,
Spaceman.
I mean, what am I going to do? Go watch the DC movies in theaters? Hell no.
I'm
starving. No, I'm starving, man. I want some good DC.
Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow on.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, right.
Late night taco delivery.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
There's something about animated I'm going to talk about.
Oh, anime?
Uh-oh.
Animated.
Oh, animated. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll talk to you guys after the show when this is over. Okay, so now we have Martian Manhunter taking the identity of the dude he scared to death.
Yeah, which actually did happen in the comic book.
Mm-hmm. Now, I did praise the fact that this movie doesn't exactly let on how much time has passed in between scenes. Because, I mean, after this, he literally goes into the Gotham Police Department as a detective, which I was like, wait, when the fuck did this start? I mean, did he just, turn it on?
Well, he just basically starts watching television. And it is kind of explained a little more in the comic book that he spends literally months watching TV.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to learn what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he just basically ends up, watching Dragnet.
But,
Groucho Marx.
And here's another really interesting thing, that he's able to turn himself black and white.
Yeah, that is an interesting point.
See, I'm actually kind of cool with it, because he's looking at a black and white screen.
Bugs Bunny cameo?
Yeah, a little bit much, but whatever. But I
concludes our I miss those so much.
Right?
You never had. Honestly, I don't think you guys ever had that situation.
No,
never did.
I did. I remember going down and sneaking down in the middle of the night and watching Twilight Zone on Channel 36, and then there'd be a little religious programming and some shit, and then they're like, "This now concludes our broadcasting day. This is Channel Fox, Channel 36 out of Toledo, broadcasting on such and such." I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed now.
I like
3 hours later, I gotta be up. Yeah.
I really like the disconnect between Batman here in this story too, because he's a fugitive, yes, but they refer to him as that Batman character. He's not Batman.
Yeah,
he's not a celebrity that is to be imitated.
Mm-hmm.
No. He's the legend. He's the dark. He's what the criminals fear.
And speaking of legend,
he lives in the dark.
And speaking of legend, the fact that they actually pulled out the original Bill Finger illustration,
yes,
that was I thought was so cool. Now, this sequence right here is probably my favorite in the series.
Yeah.
Which is really sad because
like
it's...
it's Wildcat.
Yeah.
And Cook is actually a Darwin Cook.
Yeah.
Yep. So it is in there, but again, more stuff. I want to see more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a petulant baby.
Shut the hell up.
I want more!
Well, the movie...
cheese with that wine?
Well, the movie's not explaining enough, man. I mean, they're just kind of meandering, grabbing and going with all these wonderful little plot points and saying, okay, this happens, okay, moving on, we got to do this, and this, and it's...
Again, an hour and 14 run time.
I guess I'm just saying
I think
it's
supposed to be... who is that supposed to be?
That's probably Dean Martin.
Okay.
But because it's just
or Frank Sinatra.
One of the two. It's
rat.
It's Dean Sinatra. But it's just that it's literally like pick and run storytelling, and that really hurts the plot in my eyes a lot. That's
Buddy Blake.
Yeah, that's
who the fuck's Buddy Blake?
It's a made up character.
Okay,
and there's a little bit of your animation for that.
Yep, there's a little bit for Wildcat and being watched by the Flash here.
Yeah.
But this little sequence right here is probably one of my favorites in the sequence, which is kind of sad because it's really evocative of a Justice League episode, Wild Cards.
The movie, the art direction is fantastic. It does look like the '60s, as far as
I'm
told.
Yeah, it does. But
I wasn't there, obviously. But
to me, it's not enough.
Not even the '60s, more late '50s.
Well, yeah, definitely more late 50s.
Yeah, because this whole series takes place between 1954 and 1960.
Yeah.
But it really it's because a pretty face is one thing, but it's really about the movie's inner soul that I'm interested in.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's not
Chill
Mr.
out.
Freeze.
Sorry,
that's for the last episode we did Sub-Zero.
Yep.
But yep. Bye, and he's
Crunch.
Down.
Oof.
That's
probably dead too.
Yeah, I'd say so. But this scene, or this whole sequence where he's like, I've got a bunch of bombs running around Las Vegas. They'll blow up in 90 seconds. Are you fast enough to do it?
Yeah.
That's really reminiscent. I was immediately taken back to the Justice League episode Wild Cars, where the Joker plants a whole bunch of bombs over Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Same area, and Flash is also the one to disarm the last bomb.
The thing is, that came after this, so it's probably inspired by that.
Exactly, which was
like... I'm sorry, it came after the comic. It's inspired by that.
It was also, I mean, I was like, oh my god, they're actually ripping this off, but I'm like, you know what? It reminds me of a better time. So I'm like, okay, I'll go with this.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris. We know you don't like the pussy, but still. You make a great Flash.
Dude, he makes a great anything. Come on. It's Neil Patrick Harris. But yeah, and here again we're getting at the sensation that that's another thing that confused me about this. They mentioned Justice Society, but it feels like, or at least the way that people are interacting with or referring to these other characters, it's as if they never met one another or have never worked together as a team.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like, hey, it's that Flash character. Oh, it's that Batman character. Oh, that Superman. It feels like they're so separate. They haven't worked together, even though there's been supposedly a Justice Society before all this.
The thing is that Batman was never part of the Justice Society.
There's no six. He just keeping him busy.
And Flash didn't come around until like late in the 40s, early in the 50s.
Yeah.
Especially the Barry Allen Flash.
Yeah.
The Barry Allen Flash was actually the first of the what's called the
Silver Age characters.
Silver Age characters. Mm-hmm. But the original Flash was part of the Justice Society.
Yeah. Jay Garrick.
Although
who they're actually bringing into the new show, by the way.
Although how cool would it have been if he had this movie had the Golden Age Flash costume? That would have been kind of cool.
I don't know.
With the jeans and everything.
It would have looked too dated, in my opinion.
Too dated?
Yeah.
This movie is like dated up the ass.
No, man, it's Silver Age.
Oh, whatever.
It's Space Age. It's awesome.
Yeah, whatever. I can guess. I guess if you're gonna, but I guess if you go retro, you can go like completely retro. And here we are. You're different from the lesser beings.
Faster, better, stronger.
What are you? And snap out of it. Now, I love this. I rewired it on the way down in the few microseconds that he did.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
I love stuff when you freeze somebody like, oh, he's gonna survive. No, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He's really
you just
dead.
fucking killed some dude.
And oh yeah, this is what I thought was really cool.
No, I really don't mention the Justice Society at all in the. Well, okay. The characters we're talking about, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are the only ones that would have been from the Justice Society.
Yeah.
Hourman's dead. The original Flash doesn't seem to exist. Or he's gone.
Yeah.
Green Lantern doesn't appear until, this movie or that time period. The second Flash doesn't appear. So they were never part of the Justice Society.
Exactly. And technically speaking, the original Justice Society members were the Spectre, Dr. Fate, what's his name? Well, Hourman, of course.
Right.
Let's see. Wonder Woman didn't actually come in until later.
I think the Star Spangled Kid was one of them.
Yeah.
Where the hell is the rest of the Justice Society? Where is the Spectre in
and
this
Alan
movie?
Scott Green Lantern, which is the red one with the cape, and Jay Garrick Flash.
I still stand by that this probably wasn't the best one to adapt because
There was too much going on.
There's way too much going on.
Yeah, but I think a little ambition did them right.
I guess it got. I will admit, more than anything, if I'm glad that this movie was made, it's because of the art direction. Because this looks nothing, and
Exactly.
I mean nothing like any of the other DC animated movies.
Which I think is the thing that they needed to prove here.
Okay, Dr. Fate, Iron Man, the Spectre, the Sandman, the Atom, the Flash, Green Lantern, and Hawkman.
Okay,
There we go.
So now we know.
Yeah.
But that's actually a really good point. That this movie was more about like a portfolio thing rather than a chance to say, "Hey, let's really do something with it." And of course, we mentioned that this is probably one of their first ones that they did.
They're still pushing. They're still trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and
Ow.
by the time they really get into their groove, by the time they get to the Batman and Superman movies, like what was it? There was what was it? Batman, Superman, Apocalypse, and Public Enemies. That was
There
the
we
other
go.
one.
Yeah.
That was the other one.
I also liked Superman versus the Elite.
Dude, that one was awesome.
Crisis on Two Earths.
Crisis on Two Earths was awesome. Pretty much all of them were
I watched
awesome.
that one. I can't remember.
I mean, in one shape or form or another, I was satisfied with just about most of the DC animated movies that came after this one.
Yeah.
This is the one that really kind of disappointed me. That, and I think Son of Batman. I was kind of bored throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that was that one with that Weird Al Yankovic did the voice for.
No, it was Batman versus Robin.
Oh, okay.
Batman versus Robin is not great.
I've heard not good things about it. I didn't like Justice League War either because I hate the New 52. Hate it.
One thing I do like about the DC animated stuff they've done is the shorts.
Yes.
The Green Arrow, Jonah
Yep.
Hex, the Spectre. The Spectre was awesome. It was 70s Hollywood.
Yes, it was.
It's gritty
That
and
is-
nasty and dirty. You could smell the cocaine coming off that damn thing.
Not to mention, you could really just get a vibe from that era, man.
They also did a
it
Catwoman one.
It felt
The
like
Catwoman was cool, but
yes.
except it was a lot of boob. A lot of extraneous
Yeah, it was
boob
a
on that one.
lot. Yeah, there was a bit too much boob. Which is weird to say.
I know,
Three
right?
straight guys to say
Yeah.
yes, but we're like, yeah, a lot of boob in that one.
Yeah,
A
a
little too much boob. It's a little uncomfortable amount of boob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extraneous amounts of boob. No, I love the Green Arrow one, and Jonah Hex was awesome.
Oh my god, the Jonah Hex one was amazing.
Thomas
Yes.
Jane should have been Jonah Hex.
Oh wow, really?
I
No
watched
kidding.
that movie. It was so bad.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
I love westerns. I mean, hell, I watched The Lone Ranger a couple weeks ago.
Did you watch?
Poor man.
Did you watch Cowboys versus Aliens?
No, but my dad has it, and I keep meaning to sit down and watch it.
I did see it, and you know what? For like a weekend popcorn movie where you're bored,
Oh, this part.
Yeah. for a weekend popcorn movie, it's not that bad.
Okay.
But here we go. I'm gonna try the back. I'm gonna see if I can get through and pick this lock.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna
they
phase
never
through.
explain how he becomes a.
A detective in
Yeah, that's the other thing.
In the comic book, they do.
Okay, good.
Because Martian Manhunter has the ability to affect people's memories. So he basically walks in and he starts talking to this guy. He basically walks in as, this guy. And everyone's like, who the hell are you? And in the comics, like, suddenly we're all his best friend. We've known him for years. Hell, our kids are in the same little league.
Nice.
He basically just affects their memories. And
I love this
at some
Batman.
point, I think it's in this actually. He another thing in the comic they talk about is that his old partner ends up finding out who the Martian Manhunter is, and understands why he did what he did.
Okay, so here we are. Why is he catatonic because of the fire? I mean, I know that's his weakness, but does he turn catatonic when he?
Yeah.
He's got a mental block against fire because apparently fire does not burn on Mars.
Ah, okay.
So it so freaks him out.
Ah, okay. Just wanted to make sure because that struck me as like, okay, I know it's his weakness, but I didn't know it like immobilized him like that.
Yeah.
So, but all right, I'll ride with it. But you mentioned earlier, John, that this Batman is awesome.
Yes,
it is because
I've read some of the original 39 Batman.
Bill Finger stuff and Bob Kane.
Yeah. And this is right out of it. I mean, right down to the purple gloves.
I know. Yes, the purple gloves.
I didn't notice the purple gloves.
Yeah. Now the only question is the Batmobile red here?
Well, no,
what?
it's not, because we see the Batcave later in the movie,
I
and
know.
it's more geared towards the 40s than the late 30s. That I
That'd
thought
be
was a
judged.
really
And this guy comes right off of the page too. He's the Mad Monk.
yeah. Because I was reading that, I'm like, this looks straight from the original Bob Kane comic series from Detective Comics.
Which is oh god,
There's
that
a lot of
that whole
references.
plot twist was so dumb.
Huh? What?
Early Batman.
Yeah, it was one the in the comic. But again, even though it's really cool to see that stuff, these scenes really lack substance because they don't have the weight or development. Man, I'm stressing.
That's the thing. It's not necessarily supposed to have the development.
I'm having no problems with it. I mean, I'm missing certain things. I missed certain things that were in the comic, but
I was really hoping you'd be on my side, Dan, because they were like, "Where is this? Where is that? Where is that? Burn Bruce!"
I learned a long time ago that if I was going to hate things for not having, translating media, and I would hate things, I would never enjoy a movie again.
It's true.
That's true. Well, there is a point where I'm like, all right, it's an adaptation, but I'm still standing
Not even
by.
like Goblet of Fire. I'm sorry. There were certain things I wish they'd done. At one point they filmed the scene, filmed the little thing with Kenneth Branagh as Gilroy Lockhart? Or
Oh
whatever?
yeah, that's right.
And they actually showed him in the insane asylum, but they didn't actually show it in the movie.
Oh, boo.
And I thought that would have been kind of cool. And the Rita Skeeter thing would have been cool too. But I'm okay with it.
Plus,
And
it's kind of an
something else-
extraneous detail.
Yeah, but they did at least have in the Deathly Hallows my favorite line of all time. Leave my children alone, you bitch.
Yes.
I was actually going to be pissed off if they left that out of the movie. But they
Yeah.
didn't.
Well, I guess the main reason why I was really upset about Goblet of Fire is because they spent like a ridiculous amount of time on those action sequences that didn't last necessarily too long in the book, but they just amped them up so much for the trailers, and it felt gratuitous to the point where it's like, yeah, you really could betray the story just for big spectacle.
Okay.
So that was
Now-
my point.
Another thing that's in the comic book is that Hal Jordan's got a commanding officer who's actually flew with Hal Jordan's dad in World War II, and he's trying to keep Hal Jordan out of trouble.
Center.
But he's being an asshole about it. But they reveal when they first met, because there was a pilot bar where Hal Jordan as a kid used to sneak in. I think his father died in World War II.
Cool.
That's one reason why Hal Jordan became a pilot.
There was actually a guy in that previous scene who looks like somebody else. I think it looked like a young Jack Kirby.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Well, the original comic book was very much inspired by Jack Kirby designs.
Oh, certainly.
When Darwin Cook actually worked as an animator and a design artist on the Batman animated series and Superman.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
He was very much inspired by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's artwork.
Nice.
And
Very
Ty Templeton, too. There's so many unsung heroes in the Batman and Justice League. I mean, everyone talks about Alan Dini and
Alan Dini.
sorry, Bruce Timm and
Alan Burnett.
No, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, sorry.
And Alan Burnett.
And Alan Burnett, but there's like so
And
many other
Eric
people that were
Radomski.
involved.
Yeah.
Eric Radomski and so on and so forth. I mean, I've got a book on the whole, like the making of the Batman animated series around here somewhere.
Now, this sequence always drove me just a little, or rubbed me the wrong way, mostly because of what Carol is wearing.
What?
This suit just feels too casual for like the world's greatest best kept military secret on the planet.
Well, she was driving around in a car.
True.
It's not like she was like, if she was wearing a power suit, he
Also,
would have been
she
tipped off.
herself is not military.
Right.
Okay,
And that's a 50s fashion.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it just
There's
strikes me.
Faraday.
Yep, there he is. It just strikes me as weird as seeing someone like this holding one of the greatest secrets in the world, and they're because it feels like a one of those shadow cabinet kind of meetings, and you would think they'd be dressed in something like a little bit more dark colored.
If it helps, you might want to think of her as like the Tony Stark of the operation. She owns and is the contractor for everything here you see before you.
So it really doesn't, because she doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Okay. It was just like a minor little geeky nitpick. It's not something I'm like, oh, this is terrible. It's because again, I'm just saying these scenes are just not developed individually very well.
I'm a real kidder.
And literally while I was listening to him talk this whole thing, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage. He's one of my all-time favorite villains from the Justice League.
This is exactly right here is where I killed the Flash. Would you like some lunch?
I know, right?
And I was like, I killed him right here.
Oh, was
No, wait, it was over there. Or I'll like, your funeral was lovely. It was on all the networks. You used to have the DVD. That was one of
Justice
my
League
favorite
Animated greatest series ever. Sorry, just hands down.
Yep.
Good night. We'll keep it down. We'll let the puppy in when we're done.
Yes, we have someone living in the studio as well, along with the puppy.
He sleeps under the tape racks.
All right, now here we got Batman interrogating.
Batman, awesome.
Why didn't I? You didn't sense me?
As you do the others.
How'd you do that? It's my secret.
Grant Morrison used to write Batman as a distracted genius, and he had all these really funny asides, like Batman would sneak up on Superman. I didn't even hear you come in. Device works, and continue on, and just.
Although, this is another one of those instances where you're like, how you not? They don't ever explicitly say how much time has passed. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's just that I still wish that there was a little bit more. There was a little bit more foundations to the setups of these scenes.
KKK attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the side, Superman was actually responsible for the downfall of the KKK.
This line right here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure where you come from, but my instincts tell me that you're trusted. But this is awesome. Make no mistake, I have $70,000 of a radioactive meteor to stop the one from Metropolis. All I need is a penny for a book of matches to stop you. Jesus. Yeah. Batman is scary, man.
Batman, he always is thinking.
Always, man. I thought that was great. And here we got not Gorilla Grodd, actually.
Not?
Well, you'll see in a moment because we got Grodd.
All right. Okay.
Wait for it. I know I'm building this up like Big Ten. Boom and kaboom. Robot. Plot twist. It's not
Robot Monster.
Robot Monster by the government.
Oh my god, not Robot Monster. Please, no, I'm having flashbacks.
No. I love her, but I have to kill her. First time I ever saw that movie was on Thanksgiving.
Of all times.
Well, a movie channel was running a Turkey Day marathon, and they were running like turkey films.
Blatant government villains. Yeah. And now, I'm curious if the Flash can even do that.
He can. Actually, it's been stated in the comic book. He actually can vibrate himself out of...
But can he do it that fast? Doesn't it take a little while for him to charge up?
Nope. Now, whether he can actually teleport, no. He can actually... he is able to vibrate through solid objects.
Yeah, well, I knew that.
So apparently he just vibrated out of there and just took the fuck off.
I was just wondering if it took like a little bit of time to charge up, because that's usually... Because I've seen it done in some of the other DC animated movies and in some of the Justice League episodes. But
you're asking for... what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency in a cartoon.
Well, hey, look. It's just something that
especially one that's based on a comic book.
Well, okay. First off, it's by the same people, so I'm cool with it, man. I'm not against it at all. I'm like, because this is its own storyline. Because Bruce Timm has explicitly stated this does not have any continuity with any of the DC animated movies or any of the series that we've done previously.
Did
it stands on its own.
Any of the DC original movies have any continuity with like the Justice League and such?
There were a couple movies that did have some continuity with one another, like Flashpoint Paradox is the prequel to Justice League War.
Okay.
But and there's a couple that interlock, but some of them have their own standalone stories. Some of them are linked to some other ones, and some are just completely stand on their own. Very much like the DC comics themselves. They're either like these really big, grand story, or like these really intricate story arcs, or they're like standalone stories.
Right.
Because that's what DC does best. I've always been adamant about that. That DC is good at standalone stories or big, short, epic arcs.
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel's always thrived by the shared universe and guest stars and that sort of thing. Which is, one more reason why I'm really, really disappointed in the direction of the new movies coming out in theaters. I wish that we had like a Superman epic and a separate Wonder Woman movie just separate stuff. But
Instead of making the Batman versus Superman basically Justice League.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for the Aquaman to be awesome, and because I have a weird sound in my voice right now. Probably some mucus. He was. I've talked about it on just
Late Night Talk.
On Jonathan and our shows before. He's a great actor, and he was phenomenal as Conan the Barbarian. The problem is he was saddled with such a crappy movie. I mean, I would have honestly... It was one of those films I would have loved to have seen them do the original Conan the Barbarian movie, except have him as Conan instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But we'll see, man.
And what was it? They were just talking about the guy fighting against Black... I think it was Hooded Justice was the...
Yep. Well, no. Hooded Justice was... I think it was... fuck, what was it?
I think it was Watchmen, wasn't it?
Yeah, Watchmen was Hooded Justice.
Okay.
And he
Hangman.
was actually... Yeah, Hangman.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, he was a black African American vigilante. It was quite awesome.
Yes, it was. It was very cool. Nice little commentary, but it's. Yeah, I just still wish there was a little bit more to back these things up.
Red's for commies.
Red is for commies. Oh, this is the 50s.
And that was the other thing that kept me going on this one.
Hey, there's the Batmobile.
Yep.
But it's not red.
True.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Was the Batmobile red at some point?
In the very first version of Batman, yes, the Batmobile was red.
Okay.
Yeah. But...
Okay, that's the losers. The losers were the ones that ended up on the island fighting the dinosaurs in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Dinosaur Island, yeah.
Yep.
Rick Flag, who actually his son ends up running Suicide Squad.
Yep. And we actually see him at the very end of the movie as Rick Flag Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I love how Batman's so completely nonchalant about, someone literally breaking into his Batcave.
Yeah.
But then again, he knows it's the Martian.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm actually one of the things I'm terrified is DC Universe, DC animated ever tries to do Kingdom Come.
Oh my god, no, they can't do
Kingdom
that.
Come was too amazing.
They can't do that.
It's almost too big.
It's too big, and
it's all Alex Ross.
Yeah,
the only way you could do that would be to do it live action.
Yeah, you have to do it either live action or
ridiculous amounts of CGI.
Well, like Beowulf. You remember the Beowulf movie that Robert Zemeckis did?
Yeah.
If they do it like that, that's cool.
Yeah, but that'd be full coloring and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having the flat colors like this would not work on that.
No.
I mean, I wasn't even particularly excited by the animation in Dark Knight Returns.
Neither was I, because I was because it felt too.
Because Lynn Varley's artwork and Lynn Varley's coloring in Dark Knight Returns is at least half of the artwork.
Yeah.
On top of the Frank Miller stuff.
Yep. And it's such a weird design, and the way that it constantly shifts, like it's almost like a watercolor painting.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish that they went all out like that, but because Bruce Timm obviously, if they had an even bigger budget, they probably could have done it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the thing. I really wish when Dark Knight Returns came out that they made it a 2.5 hour full movie with that art style and Clint Eastwood as the lead role, and released it in theaters.
I still want Michael Ironside. I'm sorry.
That's okay, man.
Great voice.
I still say Clint Eastwood because, original inspiration, but...
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does this rocket look like the one from Tintin?
Never saw Tintin.
Neither did I.
The comic book version.
I never read the comic.
Neither did I.
All right.
Sorry. Well, I read Look, Tintin was not very popular in the United States. I read a couple issues that were reprinted in some magazine that I dug out of my parents' attic. Because I remember the two detectives. That's all I remember.
How did they survive this?
With the fire?
Yeah, how did the Martians survive that?
I don't know.
Yeah, because they clear that shit for like miles.
No, I think they dived into they dive into no, I guess they don't.
Yeah, no. They just kind of go off to the side as if it's like no big deal.
Yeah. Either that or he faced into the rock for a little while.
Physics!
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a comic book movie. Who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Sometimes you just gotta suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Yeah. I'll suspend my disbelief.
I think in the comic they end up like diving into a blast shelter.
Yeah,
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Talk about nuking the fridge. And here's the moment where Hal Jordan finally gets to go into space, and of course, shit goes wrong. Because Because Lord knows, I mean, if it's like it's not even 1958 or like if it's like 1957 or 58 or 59, Sputnik just barely got released, and that thing was the size of a basketball.
Yeah.
Getting a man and these guys are like, yeah, we're not just going to get you into orbit. We're going to send you straight to Mars. Something that we haven't even done at this point in our day and
Fuck
age.
Moon, we're going to Mars.
And we're also bringing nuclear weapons and nerve gas along the way, just in case we encounter Martian hostilities.
Because we're fucking United States. Because we're Americans, damn it.
We are American, and we're going to bring weapons to a really dangerous mission that could jeopardize our lives and the lives of the American people.
Yeah, the Colonel was the one that actually knew Hal Jordan's dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Trading was an absolute asshole in the comic.
Mm-hmm. Which, explains a lot considering his son.
Yeah.
Because Colonel Flagg is a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, his loyalty lies to the United States, and even though that the United States in those, or at least the portrayal in the comics, they do have a moral compass. He really doesn't give a shit. He'll just follow orders blindly, no matter what. Here we go. Landing a ship with nuclear armaments. Now, this right here, I was like, I call bullshit on this scene.
Yeah,
like, major bullshit. Because not only that is Hal Jordan should be literally at the back of the cockpit right now, but if that hatch opened like it does right now, he would have been gone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like
there's no way he could have survived.
Nope.
No way he could hold on to that.
And not even Colonel Flagg at that point. I mean, they're burning up into the atmosphere. There is no way in hell they'd survive. I mean, that is just bull crap.
Yeah.
That belt would have burned up already. It's
a comic book movie.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Tim on this one. This is just a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Even for a comic book movie, this is a little bit much. I mean, he's got his suit. Not only that, do they go not only does Hal Jordan go through all that, his suit goes on fire, and even though he gets rescued by Superman coming up, he still manages to survive with the suit not being breached by the fire or any of the other distress, and his helmet stays on.
Yeah,
I'm like, bullshit. Even for a comic book movie, that is a bunch of horse shit. And that should have happened like
his face should be peeling right now.
Yeah.
That should have happened. That shit should have happened the second he blew the hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. With all the trauma that Hal's suit went through, he would not have survived.
I think my favorite part,
he'd
though,
be like a big bowl of Jello.
Yep.
My favorite part about any comic book thing is that there's always the superhero who like throws the cape over their charge, and I'm just like, what's it gonna do? What's it made of?
I don't know. Have you seen the original Mechanical Monsters from the 40s that Max Fleischer did?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he actually saved Lois Lane by pulling his cape and stopping a vat of lava?
Yeah.
It's all in the costume.
Well, in
what
in
the
Man
fuck
of Steel,
is that made of, though?
In Man of Steel,
I think I just
comic,
dropped the first fuck.
Well, it's just like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. It's all in the costume. Why else would we run around in colored undies? What you were gonna say?
No, in John Byrne's Man of Steel from 1986, which is one of the reboots that DC did, they explained that his even though his suit is basically spandex, the cape is actually made from the blanket he was sent from Krypton on.
His baby blanket,
his baby blanket, and it actually is indestructible.
Okay, so there we go. Now we understand why.
Now we understand.
We get you. Now, this I thought was a really cool little thing here. It was like
racism lulls.
Yeah, and not to mention that he's like, you've seen how powerful he is. He can leave this place anytime he wants.
But he hasn't.
So that should tell you something whether or not you can trust this thing.
Another thing, and unfortunately, they don't really covered a lot in this. They do in the comic. Is Faraday and the Martian Manhunter become really good friends.
Yeah. Well, I really actually got. That was one of the few things that I really did get. Now that you mention it, because towards the end of this, I was like, these guys are really close friends. So I'm glad that they were able to just barely push that notion into my head, despite their many obstacles that they're clearly fighting over to get this story told. So, Wonder Woman, you do not question her, like, ever. I think me and John mentioned this during our episode of Flashpoint Paradox.
Oh my god, that was freaky.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is terrifying. Let's not question her authority.
Wonder Woman and fucking Aquaman.
Yes, quite literally.
Wait, they were fucking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you not seen Flashpoint Paradox yet? Oh, still haven't.
No.
Okay.
This can be arranged.
Yes, it will.
Well, I copied it off that flash drive you had.
Right on. Did you read the comic, though?
No.
Okay, good. Because I'm not going to say anything else, because that's literally half the fun.
Eben Sir.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes, Eben Sur. Here we go. Although, this got me just I mean, I know it's straight out of the comics, but this bit always kind of... I always scratch my head over this one, where he gets summoned to the wreck site, where, for me, I've always been used to the version of the story where he intercepts the crash. The Eben Sur's down spaceship actually damages his own ship, and they both crash together, and that's when he meets up with his rendezvous.
I think my favorite version of the story, and this is actually not the Hal Jordan story for me.
Uh-huh.
Well, the thing is that they recycled the Hal Jordan story for the Kyle Rayner story in Superman the Animated Series.
Okay.
So rather than having a test pilot down Eben Sur's ship is really badly damaged by Sinestro. And Eben Sur actually sends his ring across the globe looking for somebody who would have the imagination necessary.
Yeah.
And it's not Batman, though?
It's not Batman.
Well, you would think it is, though, because actually there was I forget who wrote it, but there was a Justice League storyline.
Where Batman has a Green Lantern ring?
No, where Hal is in a bit of indisposed at the moment, and Batman just looks at him and gives him the finger. And he says, "Just remember, Hal, you weren't the one who was chosen." And walks away. Because Batman, if anyone is worthy on the planet to don the Green Lantern ring, it is Batman. But
he turned it down.
He turned it down to pursue his mission as Batman, and it went to Hal Jordan. So...
Well, nothing will ever beat when Batman punched Guy Gardner. I'm sorry, that was the most brilliant. It is referenced up to this day, and it happened like 25 years ago.
Yep.
For those who don't know, Guy Gardner and Batman got into it in the Justice League comic book series. So Batman basically told Guy Gardner he was not going to fight him as long as he was wearing the power ring. Guy Gardner pulled it off, threw it to Blue Beetle, said, "Hold on to this." Charged over to Batman. Blue Beetle looked at the ring, dropped it on the ground. And Guy Gardner's like, "Yo, ready, tough guy? You ready, tough guy?" And Batman leveled him with one punch. Just one punch. And then the Black Canary walks in and goes, "What happened? Is Guy Gardner dead?" "Nah, I wouldn't be that lucky." "No." Batman just leveled him with one punch. And Black Canary breaks down. She's like, "And I missed it? Oh, God, my life is over." And it goes from there, and basically Guy Gardner, from time to time, it just gets referenced, and it's funny, because apparently whenever Guy Gardner takes a severe trauma to his head, he becomes a really nice guy. A really, a very loving, feminist, flower garden, magazine reading, and it's just funny as shit. Considering Guy Gardner's a complete jackass.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he is.
I don't even think he's the bravest person on earth. He's just too dumb to be scared.
Hi, Robin. What's up, man?
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the one thing that I'll agree with.
And that
you
is
on.
so much Dick
Sprang.
Dick Sprang artwork.
Yep. Even the redesign for Batman with the shorts, the shorts that he's wearing.
My emerald short pants.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They don't really do much with Robin after this.
Yeah.
Nope.
They don't do much with him in the comic book either.
Again, it's an ensemble piece.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is important.
Right. Mm-hmm. But no, they don't do much with him in the graphic novel either.
I've never been and besides, I've never been much of a Robin kind of thing. And besides, Robin's always been Teen Titans, and this is supposed to be a Justice League movie anyway. So yeah. I'll go with that. Okay. But I still say there are pretty much like 80% of the scenes in this movie are underdeveloped, in both not just plot but also story.
I'm following it just fine.
Well, it just feels like it feels like there
is a lot of stuff going on that it could have been expanded. And like you said, 70 minutes, they just don't have a lot to work with.
Mm-hmm. But I
mean,
will
it's basically, even, the Justice League cartoon, they sometimes had 4 or 5 episode arcs.
Mm-hmm.
And, that this is basically
Even
70 minutes, so it's only like three episodes.
even this fight felt really rushed. Like, this could have been an awesome, 2.5 minute, 3 minute fight. But look how fast Superman he took that thing down in 2 punches.
He's fucking Superman.
Well, true, but...
Hey, look at the challengers of the unknown jumpsuit stuff.
Now, here was the bit where I was like, oh my god, they really went all out.
Yeah, this freaked me out.
The invisible jet coated with the interior of Wonder Woman's blood.
Mm-hmm.
All of the blood. Holy shit.
And didn't she say, everyone's dead now?
It's...
Mascara's dead?
No, she just kind of says that we tried to... fight him off as hard as we could, but it was just too much, and so we don't really know the fate.
The final fate, yeah.
Yeah,
I think in the comic they do state that everyone's dead.
Oh, really?
That's why she came. She would have not given up and ran.
Good point.
Unless everyone in Themyscira is dead.
Shit.
Because, she's the queen.
Yeah.
She would never back down from the fight.
Maybe that's not all of her blood then. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
And right here was probably the moment where I'm like, all right, these guys are becoming friends. Because I take it there was a lot more to this in the comics.
A lot more.
And I really love that. I'm trying to beat you without reading your mind. Because that's definitely Jean. Because he knows how to discipline himself.
And he's addicted to Oreos. I love the fact that Oreos are like heroin to him.
Yeah, no.
Which is really dark when you think about it, but it's played for laughs in the comic book.
Oh, did you see the
Frenchie? I call her Frenchie because of her beret.
Did you see the JL8 comic that I sent you?
Maybe.
I need why you need to read those, because those are whole. I guarantee you, once you start on.
Oh, JL8. Yes.
Oh, you did read them?
No.
Okay,
but you're like the second person in a week to tell me I need to read these things.
They're really cute.
Okay.
They're beyond cute, and there's one strip where that I thought was a really cool design for Martian Manhunter.
That's the original.
I know, but that was a really cool.
Real men wear pants.
And that line, I'm just like, yeah, I like this.
Okay, Saginaw is the airman's bar where
Hal Jordan hid as a kid.
Yeah.
More stuff. But I just there needs to be more.
Biblical.
And that's the other thing I forgot about to mention, because I remember Lois Lane was doing a radio broadcast at the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, holy shit, they're turning her into a G.I. Jane or a G.I. Jill kind of character.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, G.I. Jill was like a pretty feminine female DJ back in the 40s who would play jams for soldiers overseas 15 minutes every day.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of her old broadcasts that I do a mix on for 1940s radio whenever I want to do something like that.
If you ever need some, I'm trying to track them down. I'm slowly getting copies of Mail Call.
Oh, cool. Nice. With Arlie Ermy?
No, the original Mail
Call.
Call.
The original Mail Call. Okay.
Mail Call. It was originally it was burned on it was cut on acetate records, and they had Groucho Marx and Jack Benny and Julie Garland and all these other people doing radio shows for the armed forces all over the world.
I'm gonna have to get.
And they would send these acetates out, and basically they'd play them for they play them in the dining hall or something, and let the guys enjoy themselves for half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What?
Talking gorillas. I stopped jewel thieves and talking gorillas. I'm not a hero. Yes, you are. You can vibrate through shit. You're faster than Superman. Okay.
Has it actually ever been
justified as
proven?
Well,
yes.
Actually, yeah, because there were a couple of comic series where the Flash actually raced Superman.
Right.
And there's an episode of Superman the Animated Series called Speed Demons where
Well, that one they didn't actually finish it.
They do leave that one open. But
Did Superman let him win or something? Or?
No, they left it open because they during the race they uncovered a supervillain plot that they had to foil together.
Yeah, Weather Wizard.
So they had to stop the race. But in the comics, Flash does win just barely.
Okay.
Because he has to be the fastest man alive.
It's like, fuck you, Superman. The speed's the only thing I've got. You're trying to take that from me? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Krypton.
Well, that was more the writers speaking that than anything, because they're like, we need to have the fastest. If he's going to be the fastest man alive, he needs to be faster than Superman. Mm-hmm. So he does beat him by like just a hair. And yay!
The problem is they're right under the fucking jet engines. Their hair would catch on fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
More geeky nitpick. And I'm here. We have the Blackhawks. Yes.
Blackhawk, Adam Strange,
and
the original Green Arrow.
Yep. And we have Ace and the Marines, who are supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
Ray Palmer, has a much bigger part in the comic book as well.
I was about to say, because I'm like, holy shit, the Atom's in here, and I'm like, oh no, it's just Ray Palmer. He doesn't actually don the costume in this one, which was kind of disappointing.
You really need to read the comic.
I do.
Yeah.
I really
hate this movie more.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hate it.
Why did they leave this out? Why did they
do this? Why did they do that? But
here you go, sir. Here's your cheese.
Now, coming up is actually one of the best. I think this is one of the best things that ever happened in the comic. In the story.
What is it?
They fucking kill Superman.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So, spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, sorry. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Blackhawks. The fact that they got them there, because I was like a huge fan of the Vandal Savage. Or the Savage Time story arc from the Justice League animated series. Are we
a little too quiet? Are we a little too loud?
Sorry.
We'll try to bring it. The movie's almost over, so we'll try to bring it down. You went to bed too early.
We have a homeless man living in the studio.
Oh, heavens.
Be nice, he pays the rent.
Cheer!
Yay!
Now I'm going to go find out what the thing is good. I'm going to go find out what it wants.
Yes!
It wants to eat me!
No!
Yeah. I eat Kryptonians for breakfast. Yeah.
Glorp.
Yeah, and finally we get a good look at the thing, because it is literally an hour into this story, and we're finally getting our villain. That was another thing that really pissed me off. I'm like, I wanted more scenes to build this villain up. There were so many beats missing where you could have had just one like really ominous scene, like you mentioned earlier, the losers. I wish they had just like a 1 minute to 30-second scene in there just to build up the omnipotence of the center.
Yeah.
But we don't get it until literally like an hour into the movie, which with like what, 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, and suddenly Superman, the one that everyone counts on, is gone.
Dead.
And they're like, oh shit, now what do you do?
Yeah.
Dude, that thing just beat like the most powerful being on the planet. This scene I thought was actually really well done. Just the camera that Jimmy's the one. Not only is he taking photos, but he's also a film cameraman. And Lois Lane completely losing it on air. That was really. I was actually like, well, right here. Cut. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah.
Wait, you've actually found something in the movie you liked?
Hey, there's stuff. There's a lot of stuff in here that I liked. I just wish it was better developed and better paced. Because it's got great actors. The animation is still fantastic to look at. I love looking at this stuff.
And there was no Robin around.
Nope.
Oh,
and
now he's in the. Actually, I noticed they changed the outfit.
They
the
did
50s outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it in the Batcave because Superman said, "Oh, you changed your look and you got a new partner. Look at you."
There used to be a comic. There used to be a collection of Batman stories at the Wood County Library I used to read all the time, and had basically at least one or two stories from like the 30s all the way up to the 70s. It had Batman. All the weird Batman stories in the 50s where he was a time traveler. Aliens and shit. Or Batman went through time and like ended up in the Wild West and had to become like Bat Indian.
Or when the one he had to dance with Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
There were some weird ass
Yeah, we got things got weird in the 50s. But you can thank Frederick Wortham for
Yay,
that.
exploding oranges. But yeah, Frederick Wortham. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
what
that
a big. I kind of wish that they did, because earlier in the movie when Lois and Superman are talking on the top of the Daily Planet, they're talking about McCarthy, and I'm like, are they going to slip in a
Wortham?
Oh, were they going to slip in a Wortham joke? Are they going to slip it in? They didn't.
A Wortham joke. Oh, with Robin?
Yeah, I wish. Well, just with anything, because he was attacking all of comics.
Seduction of Venus.
True. Oh my god.
So I really wish that
I need to read that one of these days.
I need to too, just to see that perspective. So and here's okay. So Ace is in that weird purple outfit because I was like, why is he dressed like that?
The Champions in the Unknown do a lot more in the comic.
And that's the main reason why that was their. And here we have the
Hero Shot.
Yep, Hero Shot. That's very very reminiscent of the Justice League animated series. And I think in this moment I'm like, okay.
And there were also a lot more superheroes in the comic book.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I mean, because this is like one of what they call a Omega level threat.
Yeah.
But that walkthrough scene, the voiceover by Faraday, I thought was just a little bit too gratuitous. Because for a movie that's really tight and only has like 77 minutes to tell their story, I felt like they got the whole there are no borders, there are no lines, we got to stop bickering with one another and unite. They covered that.
They already
point.
did that point.
Yeah, and it's in this kind of time frame, it's even more dangerous to repeat yourself like that. So that's when I was like, this isn't working out too well. Well, this I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although I wondered why it took so long for those things to finally burst out.
Gestation period.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Maybe.
Oh, ow.
It's just like Alien.
The center does not go by standard biology.
True.
I guess it's just like Alien, where it takes a little while for things to heat up and pop out of their chest, literally. Although I'm kind of amazed that Jean was able to retain his not Martian form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, this again, we got this moment where you can tell Faraday and him are really close friends. I actually got they actually got that through to me. So kudos to them, man.
I like the fact that wait a minute.
Independence Day.
No, I'm looking
It's
at
I'm
looking at the plane designs.
Well, I'm getting Independence Day flashbacks from that. A giant bunch of
Yay, the aliens use Linux.
Yes.
I'm back.
I was about to say, today we celebrate our Independence Day. Oh, you did not shoot that green crap at me.
Welcome to Earth.
Motherfucker. Although I wouldn't be... Actually, we do get a moment where one of the main characters swoops in to try to take it down from the inside. So...
Oh, the bat plane.
So you did...
I'm surprised they didn't do the bat gyro, though.
Yeah. I like more time. They need more time.
It kind of references that one Justice League episode where they are fighting against the nanobots.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm running out of useful
That was the last
here.
of my useful armaments. I can't do anymore. And then those things just leap onto him. He tosses batarangs on him. He blows the hatch. The thing self-destructs. And I love this next moment where he just
falling.
He ejects his seat, and then the before it blows, they shoot down his seat, and he has no parachute. And he just pulls up his intercom as he's falling, and nonchalantly goes, "Batman to all points. I could use some air support right now, since I can't fly at all." Nope.
No, it does
now,
have a...
And then it goes, "Now would be good." And then right before he hits the ground, Superman catches him, literally split second, and then without blinking, he just goes, "The spiders are reinforcing." And the mothership is getting attack dogs to protect them. Where's the Atom? Right here. Find Wonder Woman and get us down. Like it's nothing!
Batman never gets freaked out.
Nope.
Yeah.
And this I thought was a really badass moment. Not only is he getting crushed to the point where there's blood coming out.
That.
No, you can't. I've tried. Well, I mean...
It's like those movies where you try to pull grenades out with your grenade pin out with your teeth.
You would pull your teeth out first.
Yeah. You really have to pull that son of a bitch hard.
Well, you don't have to pull it out. You just have to bend the pin in order to get it out like that. So if you bend the pin, it's possible to do... Yeah. Yeah.
Blood.
Lots of the blood.
Just ripping.
I think this is almost like the production team's like...
Is it?
Jimmy Olsen, ever at the ready with a camera.
It's like the production team's like, wait, we can have some blood? Are you sure? And there's like, earlier on they kind of test it. and now they're picking it up, and they're like, oh my god, blood!
Yay, blood!
It's good stuff.
Here's our other hobo.
Hi.
Hey.
So, here we go. They're going in. Ace and Hal are going into the vortex.
Center.
They're about to have like this really freaky deaky interstellar like moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, don't look at anything.
And this is much weirder in the comic, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Because I was about to say,
Yeah.
Because I wish they went a little bit further with this, because they went really psychedelic with the artwork in this one.
Here it is.
Yeah.
It's right out of a Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Jack
Jim
Kirby.
Steranko, Jack Kirby kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought, oh, that's awesome. That's Gretzky right there.
There you
Just
sit on
keep
the edge
going.
of your feather, expecting to fly.
Actually, I was about to say we should put
We were
on...
20 miles out of Barstow when the drugs took hold.
I was about to say, let's just put on Grigori Ligeti's Requiem from 2001.
Yeah.
I was about to say, why don't we just play some early Pink Floyd?
Oh, there you go.
Actually, I just found out that during the moon landing,
Yeah.
the Apollo 11 moon landing, in the British, the BBC studios, they actually had Pink Floyd jamming while they were doing it.
That's awesome.
They were just sitting there just playing away.
That's awesome. All right, so I don't know what this material is, but is this the red matter from Star Trek?
No. Red
Candle
matter.
wax.
The red
It's
matter
candle
creates black
wax.
holes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, they're in a black hole, kinda, sort of. I think. I don't know anymore. And here,
Well, thank you, Werner Herzog.
whatever.
Lasky.
Oh, wouldn't it be awesome if Werner Herzog voiced the Guardians? Oh my god! Oh my god! Werner Herzog voicing all of the Guardians, or just have him do the mocap. He's already got that weird German forehead that could totally pull off the Guardians if it was exaggerated a little bit. And this I thought was really cool. I love the artwork for Green Lantern, but
Green Lantern's always had a great outfit. He's very clean.
Yeah.
It's a very clean style, classic design.
you know, when it's not computer CGI'd over
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. That I thought was a little bit
I didn't
much.
see that. I couldn't see it.
Oh, really?
I love Ryan Reynolds. I think he's a great actor, but I just did not see him as Green Lantern.
It was
Yeah.
I'm much more looking
Well,
forward to him as Deadpool.
He
Me
was
too.
definitely. The thing is, he's not a Hal Jordan.
No.
Yeah.
He might have been a Kyle Rayner.
Maybe a Kyle Rayner. Definitely a Guy Gardner, though.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Because I did see that one, and I was really disappointed. And I saw it on a night where I got off early, off of work, and I went to go see it in the theater, but it was storming like mad like that night. Power went out halfway through the movie. And I don't know. And the only reason why I stayed for the rest of the movie is, one, there was a big storm out and I couldn't drive home because it wasn't safe. And number two, I was just actually had a shred of hope, hoping that it would get better. Those prayers went unanswered.
Basically, it's like somebody put in a lot of work where, like, they shot everything just the way they wanted to, and then the editor got it, and they're like, nope.
Nope.
And, nope.
Oh, nope. Can't do that.
I really liked Christopher Meloni doing the voice of Green Lantern in one of the DC Universe movies.
Oh, which one was that?
I don't remember, but Christopher Meloni, for those who don't know, was what's his name? She was on Law and Order for fucking ever.
I don't know. I never watched Law and Order.
Fucking hell, my computer, my
Blah.
phone.
And Flash takes a dive.
What the fuck just happened?
Hey, look, son of a bitch. They can say son of a bitch. We can say son of a bitch? Really? This is so cool.
We can show blood?
I'm still waiting for them to actually straight up drop an F-bomb. Because, that's the other thing. When Dark Knight Returns came out, I was hoping that, like they not only would make the 2.5-hour movie it was meant to be with the psychedelic artwork and release it theatrically with Clint Eastwood as the title character, but they would release it in theaters with an R rating. Unapologetically animated R-rated Batman.
Yeah.
And you know what? I really wish they followed through with that, because then maybe these guys could have finally gotten the street cred.
Yeah.
But sadly, that isn't to be.
Christopher Meloni did Hal Jordan in Green Lantern First Flight.
Aha!
Oh, okay. Yep. The
Apparently
much
he was in Man of Steel, and that's one of the only reasons I ever want to see that movie because I love Christopher Meloni.
Although, ironically, First Flight is the exact same story as the Green Lantern live-action movie, but done
so much better.
infinitely better.
It's like almost
I have it at home. I can bring it over sometime.
Yeah. What was the other one I was on? Sub-Zero or Mask of the Fantastic?
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, Sub-Zero.
Okay, I was on Sub-Zero because I remember basically talking about how much my friends hated that movie because it was so good. It was everything that the Batman and Robin could have been.
Yeah,
exactly.
And totally wasn't. They even had Batgirl in the movie, and they have Batgirl in Batman and Robin. Holy crap! Did they do it better? Mm-hmm. What the hell happened? And you know what? I wonder if they really should have gone and made that a live action movie because was John Peters actually still attached to Batman and Robin? Or was he pretty much gone after Tim Burton left?
I think he was still involved with John Peters. John Peters was still involved with Batman and Robin.
Okay, because then he could have gotten his giant polar bears. Mm-hmm. He could with that movie could have satisfied everybody. But it didn't.
He got his giant fucking spider in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, well,
movie that Will Smith still kicks himself after overdoing.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Giant fucking
Saw that
spider.
in the theater.
Lame.
I like steampunk. I know it has steampunk. It's pretty sad when that's the big steampunk movie. That's the one everyone knows.
It's really sad. And plot twist: Superman is not dead. He was picked up by King Arthur of Atlantis. That sounds so wrong.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, it is. He says, "My name is Arthur."
It looks like a car from Mad Max Fury Road.
I know. I was like,
Witness me.
I think
Shiny
my
and
favorite
chrome.
description of Aquaman, though, is from the Kevin Smith run of Green Arrow, where he says, "Well, I've just turned up Darth Vader of the sea."
But yeah, Aquaman saves Superman, and he's back. Big plot, not a big plot twist at all.
Which one of you is Lois?
Yeah, which one of you is Lois?
This one just kept asking.
Oh, that
You
little
are small
Lois.
and I shall break you easily in bed.
actually that little motion there, I really really loved because that is like definitely Wonder Woman, and she is huge.
Oh, she's buff as fuck.
No kidding.
You do know that if I'm sorry, she would just break his dick off.
He
He betrayed, fastest man alive. Hey.
And here we have John F. Kennedy's New Frontier speech over the various images, which
Now at a time to make an example to do the world.
which
Some would say these struggles are all over.
Yes.
Let's go. I'll stop now.
Okay, because I'm like, all right, this movie's hinting at so much
more story. Yes.
so much more.
There's a lot more that's there. Yes.
Yeah.
And here we have John F. Kennedy, which is really weird because didn't he?
Dick Nixon show up in this at some point?
No, just him.
Okay, Dick Nixon's in the comic book.
That's possible.
Because wasn't
There's the metal men.
wasn't John F. Kennedy? Didn't he take office in 1960?
60.
1960. Okay, so
No, wait, 61.
61. So
He took it in 61 because he got. Okay,
So,
John Henry, aka Steele.
yeah, but shouldn't Eisenhower be giving him the medal? Because this is 1960, 1959.
Well, if it ends in 69. It's
And
60.
Teen Titans.
Okay.
And it might possibly ended up, Eisenhower was already out of their office by the time they gave him they gave him the medal.
And also partially...
And Darkseid doesn't even appear until the 1970s, so...
Yeah. So, and plus, kind of alternate
Black Manta
storyline,
and-
that sort of thing.
There's the Joker.
The Joker.
That's the worst Joker, though.
Yeah.
And there's Metamorpho.
Who
Metamorpho
does not
and,
show up.
and Plastic Man, dude. Plastic Man never gets any
Sorrow.
credit. Yep.
Right off Justice League America #1.
Yep. That's a really famous image.
Yeah.
And of course the JLA themselves, formation of the Justice League of America, and that's the movie.
Yay!
Man, where is this? Oh God!
Honestly, for me, the thing about it is that it is so
people
based in its Americana that it kind of helps forgive itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a historian's dream, and I came at it from a historical
Joe Montana.
perspective.
No, even from a historical perspective.
I
Other than the
understand
art-
there are definitely anachronisms, but I've yet to see anything that's really and truly completely non-anachronistic.
Yeah.
Still, it's just...
I mean, there are some people who are pretty damn anal retentive about this. I mean, there's an adaptation of The Crucible, where the production designer was so retentive about the chickens that were used in the movie. No shit. My mom was actually at a conference, and somebody presented a paper on this adaptation, and they actually used the words "period chickens." So, from that point of view, it's very definitely a period piece, and that's what I enjoyed about it most.
Well, it's one thing to have a period piece movie, but it's another thing to also have one that has a good story. This one the story was... It was
kind of lacking.
It was lacking a lot.
Don't you dare bark.
Puppy.
All right, guys. You finish up. I'm going to take her outside.
Okay.
Come on, station dog.
Yeah.
Go take a station poo.
Hopefully not in it. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just there wasn't enough substance to carry the movie in it. Carry the movie and do it justice. No pun intended, by the way. Because the whole movie felt like, okay, grab this scene, quickly do it. Okay, next one, and it felt but it restrained it.
And that's the thing about a comic book movie, is that it needs to be long, because otherwise you are going to be forced to do grab this scene, take them all together.
Mm-hmm. And
that's the thing. This is a very short film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tight, man, because they're on a budget. They're still working for their street cred, so they need to get this done as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
So the fact that they did this at all was kind of ambitious.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
It's an ambition that, in the long run, paid off, but in the short term, not as great as you wanted it to.
Totally agree, man. Because this is a great portfolio piece, just not a great piece that stands on its own at all. Because I mean, this is probably one of the few movies that really got me, just disappointed me. But thankfully they continued with a really great track record that continued all the way up to Flashpoint Paradox. Because after that, that's when they started to dip in their quality. I mean, they became hit or miss, but damn, did they come out with some really great ones. I mean, the Wonder Woman one is the Wonder Woman movie I want to see.
Yeah.
If that Wonder Woman movie is expanded to a 2-hour movie with everything in there, just, more development on each individual scene and a little bit more on the characters, and not really changing the overall plot, that right there is the Wonder Woman for general audiences that they must be seen.
I agree. There's an audio commentary here featuring the original writer and artist Darwin Cook.
Uh-huh.
I have not listened to this, but I should listen to it at some point, because I'm curious about what he has to say about it.
I should listen to this too. We need to get on that shit like sometime.
Yeah, in the not too distant future.
In the not too distant future. And speaking of the not too distant future, it's now October, which means yay, the fun month for movies. Which means we're probably going to be doing a whole bunch of horror-themed stuff. And
we're also doing a very special episode.
Yes, next episode, because what I've always wanted to do on the show is to debate why a movie is bad and good from two different viewpoints. Mm-hmm. And next week we're going to go in full force with it, with a movie that John and I actually really enjoyed, but Dan here really, really hated.
Oh, God, yes.
And it is Kevin Smith's latest film, Tusk. That's going to be the next episode for you guys. And we hope to catch you soon.
3 hours of my life on that movie.
It's not 3 hours.
No, I watched. I'm gonna have to watch it twice.
Oh. It's okay. I'm going to be wasting my life with a couple of movies later on down the line. I know it's not going to be fun.
And someday, Dan, we need to do our long promised episode on Marquise.
Oh, God, Marquis.
We'll get you some extra booze. It's all right.
There's not enough booze in the world.
Yeah, I know.
I can go swimming in a vat of Jack Daniels and not survive that film again.
Yeah.
Well, as long as
the only movie I've ever actually went back to the Video Spectrum and asked if I could have my money back, and they gave it to me. Well, they gave me a free rental.
See, This, although, if you ever ask me to do The Room, I might just shut down the show. I might take a hiatus.
I've never seen this show. I've never seen The Room.
You've never seen The Room?
I've never wanted to. I've heard so many bad things about the movie. I'm like, I don't.
All right, look, Dan.
I think I can deal with it.
Dan, sit through it once, just once, and then never look back, because it's something that you must be seen to believe.
It's like I might have to get the Riff Tracks version just to survive.
That's fair. I say that's fair.
Okay.
I did not rape her. Oh, hi, Julie.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Oh, good times. Well, that's it for this week, and we hope you enjoyed this month for the DC animated movies. Next week is going to be our horror-themed month. We're going to be kicking it off with Tusk, and then next week we're actually going to stop the horror train for just a moment, and we're going to do a very special Back to the Future trilogy. It's going to be huge, and we're going to be in the studio for a really long time. Just for you guys. Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm not sure I'm going to be involved in that one, but I'll try. Depends on my schedule.
Well, at least to be involved for 2, because, October 21st, 2015.
Oh, great Scott.
Yes. So with that said, we'll be signing off, and this has been an episode of CommTrack where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. CommTrack is hosted by Tim Leifheit, that's me, Jonathan Knoll, and Daniel Gill, and was created by me, Tim Leifheit. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to make a suggestion for a future show, contact us at CommTrackPodcast@gmail.com or find us on YouTube at CommTrack Podcast. And you can also find us through the Radioactive Walrus Entertainment Network at radioactive.walrus.entertain@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at Radio Walrus Pod, YouTube at Radioactive Walrus, all one word, or like and comment on our Facebook page. Again, you've been listening to CommTrack, where you never have to watch a movie alone again. Thank you, and good night.
This has been a production of Radioactive Walrus Entertainment.
John, what do chickens say?